So, for those who don't know me yet, I'm Lisbeth. I am marketing manager at Cypress, and I'm also responsible for the regulatory part. I'm at Cypress already for 18 years, and today I'm really happy to introduce you to our CYANVision, which is our semi-automate, and I want to show you how this really can organize your laboratory. In today's presentation, I want to go through the benefits of the CYANVision, and I also want to show you some practical sides. To make it more professional, actually, we have taken some videos, and I will show the videos how to perform some of the steps in the CYANVision. Then you can clearly see it. After the presentation, I will show you the link towards these videos, and in this way, you will be able to see and to review them on your own. Before we start, I really want to indicate that the CYANVision has been developed and has been created for you, for the lab technician and as well for the lab chief. Every lab technician, everyone who is in this call has the same tasks every day. So you want to do the tests, you want to do the maintenance, you also want to do quality control and as well the reporting. This is what is important to you. However, lab chiefs also want to think about cost optimization. They want to have the patients have a good diagnostic result, but on the other hand, it's very important to also optimize their costs. We have introduced several systems within the CYANVision that helps the laboratory to have this cost optimization. One of them is the LED technology, on which I will speak later, the reduced maintenance, and as well the software tool, which is called the worklist. First of all, I want to start with the saying that the CYANVision is an open system semi-automate. That means that there are 100 closed methods, and these are programmed and validated by Cypress. That also means that these reagents that are programmed are checked fully with bigger automates on the market to make sure that if you use this method, in combination with our reagents, that you will have always good results. But of course, Cypress doesn't offer all of the reagents, neither, and sometimes just people want to do other programs. And then there is a possibility to also program your own methodology. So it's an open system, but the most important thing is that there are 40 programs already programmed and validated by Cypress. Secondly, there is a 10-inch touchscreen. This touchscreen is actually quite big. It's actually the same size as your laptop screen. And that means that you have a big overview on what you're doing with the CYANVision. There are many semi-automates on the market only having a very small screen. Using this screen will give you a very good idea where you are, which patients you still need to do, which maintenance you need to do, and actually it will guide you through your day. Then we have the LED technology. The LED technology is actually a technology that exists very long already, but it has never been used in a semi-automate. It has never been used to determine biochemistry analytes. It has been used in lamps and so on, but what we did is we replaced the halogen lamp by a LED technology. I will show you the benefits later. And then, of course, what is important to you, it's a very simple and reduced maintenance. That means that little interventions are needed and that little maintenance is needed to make sure that you can work on a continuous basis. There is also a barcode reader option in this instrument to identify samples and also to upload controls and calibrator values. And of course, this is the most important tool of the CYANVision. There is a worklist, a software tool that helps you to organize and to structure your laboratory work. This will help you to gain time and also less cost while doing the same amount of samples. Let's start by the touchscreen. So, it is a 10-inch touchscreen. The standard is included, and it's 2 times the surface area of what we had on the CyanSmart. You do not need to use this touchscreen. You can also use any other screen. The computer of the CYANVision is inbuilt in the instrument itself. You only need an external screen to show your results. It can be any type of screen. It can be a touch screen, it can be a normal screen, it can be small and large. You only need to couple it to the instrument or with an HDMI port or with a USB connection. And then we have the LED technology. The LED technology stands for electroluminescence diodes. What does it actually mean? It actually means that normally when you have a lamp and you put on the instrument, there is a certain level of intensity. At a certain time, so when it starts, when it's on, then actually the light intensity goes down after a period of time. And at a certain moment, you need to replace the lamp as the intensity of the light is not big enough to give good results. With the LED system, this is not the case. The LED system keeps its intensity for the whole lifetime of the instrument. It doesn't lose any of his energy. With this LED technology, you can do 100,000 tests. And we have 8 LEDs on the instrument itself. These cover a wavelength between 340 nanometers until 670 nanometers. And this is a unique system on the market. The big advantage of this system is that you will not have any broken lamps anymore, and that doesn't need to be replaced nor maintained. So that also means that you can work in a continuous way without, after 6 months or after 2 hours, replacing the lamp. You will always have the most optimal results with this LED system. We can actually split the benefits of the LED system in 2 ways. We have financial benefits and we have operational benefits. First of all is the financial benefits. So, first of all, it's energy saving. LEDs are more efficient and will use less electrical power than halogen lamps. That's an advantage. Also, the longevity. The lifespan of a LED lamp is typically 10 times longer than a halogen lamp. So that also means you will not need to replace the lamp during its lifetime. In terms of the maintenance cost, halogen lamps will need to be replaced regularly. You will need to pay for the lamp, you will need to pay for the labor cost for the distributor to come to your place to repair it, and you will need to pay as well for the initialization of the new lamp. In the case of a LED system, this is not needed. The energy of the LED stays high. If you have a LED system, there will be no disruptions. So you have a way of working in a continuous flow every day, day in, day out. Regarding the unit price, we see that the halogen lamps are a bit cheaper than putting in the LED at the first time. However, it doesn't make a difference in the pricing of the instrument. But that also means that for the halogen lamps, you don't need to replace them and you will recover actually these extra costs. When we look at the operational benefits, then the first one is the light intensity. The LEDs are specific. They work at a specific wavelength, and they are always at their highest light intensity. They don't peak, they don't give any differences, so your results will be more accurate and will have less changes over the time. Also, and that is maybe the most important point in the LED benefits, is the heat radiation. Normally, halogen lamps, they give heat. So that also means that the heat needs to get out of the instrument, and therefore needs a ventilator. But putting a ventilator into an instrument, it also means that the heat can go out, but the dust can come in. And that dust will actually be able to damage your electrical parts. With the CYANVision, there's a LED system and you don't need to worry about your electrical parts because there is no ventilator in the instrument. There is no heat produced in the instrument. And of course, what is also important, when you arrive the morning in the laboratory, it is important that you can start right away. With a halogen lamp, you need 30 minutes to warm up the lamp and then to do your first analysis. If you have a LED system, then you come into the laboratory, you switch on the instrument, and you can start reading immediately. Then regarding the quality control. If we don't do the calibration, if we don't do the quality control, then it has no use to do the diagnostic samples. However, with that quality control, lots of errors can be made. And one of them is the introduction of the values of that control in the instrument. If you need to do that manually, then you will have transcription errors in the instrument. So, with the CYANVision, we thought of a way to make that easier and faster for you. So I have a question for you. So in average, how long does it take to add the values of the calibrator or the controls for 30 methods in your analyzer? If you think that it's less than 1 minute, then you put A in the chat. If you think that it's between 1 and 5 minutes, then you put B in the chat. If you think it's more than 5 minutes, then you put C in the chat. I invite you to send us your opinion on this. For the CYANVision, we do it in a different way. Let me show you it by a small video. So as you have seen in the video, actually it's very easy. We take a barcode reader and we are going to scan the QR code which is on the table of the values of the calibrator and the control. All of the methods are in and all of the values are introduced automatically and without any transcription errors. This is unique. There is none of the other biochemistry analyzers on the market who do this on a semi-automate. And we can do it for calibrators, we can do it for controls, and you can also do it for samples. So that means in less than 1 minute, all your control values are in the system. It will save you time and it will save you errors in your quality control. In addition, in the software, you can also see how many methods that you have done. You can count the number of tests, the number of blanks, the number of calibrations and controls, and this you can filter by month and by year. That means that if by the laboratory, the cost needs to be calculated on the price per test that needs to be charged to the patients, then it's very easy to make an overview and to check what is actually the price per patient. So with this quality control, actually you have economic wins. That means you have a faster QC because of the data are faster in there. Secondly, you have less reagent consumption. If the controls are in the system there from the right time, the first time, the right time, then at that time, actually, you will not do any repeats of the quality control and you will have actually a better reagent consumption rate for your patients. You can trust in patients' data, and that will lead to a strong position in qualification and also in certification. The more and the better the reputation of the laboratory, the more patients will come to the laboratory and the more samples you will do. The more samples you'll do, the more the laboratory will grow. So it's in your own interest to really put a focus on that quality control and to make sure that the quality control is well performed. And next part, I want to introduce you the work list. Actually, I think that most of the participants in this call know what a work list is. It is a list in which you put the number of patients you want to test with the number of samples and the type of analytes you want to test. This is a tool that is normally used in an automatic and a biochemistry analyzer. But we have introduced this in the CYANVision, which is a semi-automatic one. So you can work in an automatic way by even having a small investment by a semi-automatic one. So that also means that you can work as an automated lab. The work list will tell you what is the next test, and it will also introduce you how you can organize and how you can structure your analysis. So that work list will give you a patient overview, it will give you a list of the samples to be done, and there is also a possibility to introduce stat samples, to urgent samples that needs to be done first. So if we check the work list, then we have actually the old methodology on the old analyzers. What will happen there? The software is limited and we go method by method. So that also means that the execution of the test will be done without the details of the patients already in the instrument. And that also means that it will be difficult to find the data of that patient afterwards. It is mainly still today introduced in semi-automatic analyzers. However, we do, and you see it in the red square, we add an additional step. We have added this new technology so that you can first add the sample details and then measure. This is unique for the CYANVision, it's unique for the semi-automated analyzers on the market, but it will organize and it will save you time. But how much time? It's important to know how much time. So what we did is a small experiment. We compared our old CyanSmart versus the new CYANVision. And we have done 3 tests on urea, on uric acid, and on creatinine. And we have tested 20 samples. The time to result is indicated here. So in green, you see what is the preparation of the analyzer. So first, you need to put on the instrument in the morning, the CyanSmart, and then you need to wait 30 minutes for the halogen lamp to start, and then you can start measuring samples. So the green bar is bigger with the CyanSmart already. Then you have the CYANVision in batch mode. You gain 30 minutes because of the LED system, and then you have the blue bar where you have a creation of the work list. Well, it takes a bit more time, but you will recover it. I'll show you. Preparing the test in gray is the same because it's all a manual system. So that means that you will need to pipette the samples, you need to incubate the samples and so on. But so it will be the same for the 3 systems. However, when you start measuring and doing the sample execution, you'll see in black that the CYANVision with the work list is a lot faster. So I'm going to show you. If we look at the completion ratio of the 20 samples versus the time to result, then see the red line. The red line is for the CyanSmart in a batch mode way, the old way the semi-automates work. If we would take the same batch mode, but with a CYANVision, then we see in blue, dark blue, that the line shifts. That is because of the LED. That LED doesn't need a warming up before you start the morning. So that means that you already win 30 minutes. However, when you do a work list, you see in the blue line that the curve is fully different. So in the beginning, you will be a bit slower, but if you look at then, by the time you reach the 100% of the samples, you are a lot faster. And the amount of gain that you have is you are 37% faster by just using the work list. And the more samples you do, the more time you gain. If you would do 40 samples, then you would actually gain 45% of a time. That means that if you normally would work all morning, then by 10 o'clock, all of your samples would already be done and you would have free time to do other laboratory tasks to do. I'll show you a video on how to program it.
How can the CYANVision help increase the efficiency and improve the visibility of the daily workload. The new feature to work with patient work lists facilitates the processing of multiple patient samples in 3 ways. An overview of the patients for which tests need to be performed is at your disposal at all times. Secondly, a to-do list is created and updated automatically, and suggestions of which tests should be performed next are displayed. Emergency samples are prioritized. Let's show you the 1, 2, 3 of creating a patient work list. To do so, navigate to the Perform Test Patient Routine menu. Start with adding patients to the work list. Enter a unique identification number, the first name, and the surname of the patient. Indicate if the patient is female or male and enter the birth date. If the sample measurement is urgent, indicate this by activating the Stat checkbox. Any additional information about this request or the patient can be added in the comment field. On the next page, select the tests that need to be executed for this patient, or, if available, select the test profile. By pressing Next, this selection of tests will be saved. If multiple patients require the same tests, do not fill in the fields of the first page, but rather go to the second page, select the tests which should be performed, and press the Multiple Save button. Indicate the number of samples for which this profile should be executed, confirm, and then select the line to add the patient information. An overview of the patients for which tests need to be performed today is shown. You will find the total number of tests to do, and if tests have already been finished, it will be shown under Completed Tests. On the next page, the CYANVision software will organize the to-do list for this working day. Urgent requests are shown at the top. The software suggests doing these tests first. It is up to you to follow the suggestion or to choose another analyte from the list to start with.
With this work list, you have other economies. You have a 37% time gain. Then you also have less reagent consumption. Why is it? Because there is a better structuring of your workflow. You have less repetition, and you also have less contamination. So that also means that the reagent consumption will be less. In addition, there will be a faster quality control being done because you will have less repetition with the same level of trust that you gain. And in addition, what is most important as well, you have patient data, and it's easy to process all of the patient data. It's very easy to make a fast and detailed patient report, and there is very easy to make a patient follow-up. That means that with reporting, actually you can really find that patient on identity number and then look what are the previous results and see whether the treatment the doctor gave is working or not working. In the old analyzers, this is not a possibility. There you need to find in your own written booklet to find, okay, where was that patient, when did the patient come, and so on. It's a lot of research to be done. In this case, you have it at your fingers at any time. Again, making good reports, doing a good job, but also in a very efficient way in time and costs, that will only increase the position of the lab in qualification and certification. And again, the more patients coming to your laboratory, the better your reputation and the better your laboratory will grow in the future. I'll show you a video now on how to perform a test and how to make a report.
An overview of the patients for which tests need to be performed today is shown. You will find the total number of tests to do, and if tests have already been finished, it will be shown under completed tests. On the next page, the CYANVision software will organize the to-do list for this working day. Urgent requests are shown at the top. The software suggests doing these tests first. It is up to you to follow the suggestion or to choose another analyte from the list to start with. In this example, we will follow the suggestion and start with the albumin test. The next page shows the reference code, the lot number, and the expiration date of the last used albumin kit. If necessary, update the displayed information using the details on the label of the new kit. If the kit is expired, the software will warn you. The CYANVision will now guide you through the different measurement steps. First, an auto 0 is recommended, but can be skipped if already performed today. The reagent blank has been performed today, so it's not a requirement to do it again. It can be skipped. Next, the calibration summary is indicated. It should be performed at installation, when changing reagent lot, and when the quality controls are out of range. Otherwise, the calibration can be skipped. Today, we will perform a calibration using the standard included in the kit. Next, an overview of the quality controls is shown. We recommend measuring quality controls on a daily basis. We will measure the pathological control in this example. The software will ask you if you want to measure the other present quality control, in this case the normal biochemistry control. We will skip it in this phase and confirm we are sure. Then, all patients for which an albumin test is required are shown. Select the patient for which you want to start the albumin test now. In the event new patient samples are received that also require this analyte to be tested, you can add them directly by pressing the Add button. We will start with the recommended urgent patient sample. All patient samples can be measured one after another, without having to redo the reagent blank, the calibration, or the quality controls. Once all albumin measurements are finished, rinse the hydraulic system to avoid contaminations and proceed with the new analyte as suggested by the work list.
Afterwards, we'll look at the reporting. So for instance, this is our patient Samira. Actually, when we are able to indicate the last result. And you see that there are two glucose tests on the screen. One on the top, which indicates 90.1, which was done on 24th of February. But you also see that the last result was glucose, and that was 218, so way too high. And that was done on 28th of January. You also see a red flag there. So that means that at that time, in January, the results were too high. Anyway, it works because you see that 1 month later, going back to the laboratory and doing a check whether the treatment is working, we see that the glucose dropped from 218 to 90. So making a report or performing a test is easy, it's intuitive, it's structured. The instrument guides you through the different steps that you need to do. And also making a user-friendly report, it's very easy. You can easily process the data of the patients. You can make a very fast and detailed patient on the report. You can print it even. There is an inbuilt printing on the instrument, and there is a very easy way of a patient follow-up. That leads us to good results. So we have discussed about what is a good quality control, how can I check it? We have seen how to measure the data. We have also seen how to use a work list to make sure that you are working in a structured way. But of course, your instrument needs maintenance too. And what we have seen in the market with our previous instruments, so with the CYANStart, with the CYANSmart in the past, and we have a lot of experience, more than 30 years already, that maintenance should be simple and limited, and that at any time of the lifetime, actually, the instrument should be in the best performance. One way to sort out or to limit the maintenance was to introduce the LED system. This way, the lamp doesn't need to be replaced. However, there are other parts of the system that needs maintenance, and that we made very simple and very limited so that you can do it yourself in the laboratory, and you do not need a technician of the distributor to come over to do your maintenance. I'll give you a small video on the end of the day cleaning.
Leaving microdroplets in the flow cell and in the tubing of the hydraulic system after switch off leads to an accumulation of residues in the hydraulic system. This end-of-day cleaning procedure prevents this. To perform the procedure, you need our cyan washing solution, a container with 15 milliliters of distilled water, and a tissue. In the software, navigate to Maintenance, Overview, and Cleaning. Dilute the concentrated cyan washing solution to 5%. To prepare 100 milliliters, add 5 milliliters of concentrated cyan washing solution to 95 milliliters of distilled water. This 5% solution can be stored for several months at room temperature. Aspirate 15 milliliters of this 5% cyan washing solution. Then aspirate air to evacuate the washing solution from the system. Wash the hydraulic system by aspirating 15 milliliters of distilled water. And then press aspirate to dry the flow cell and the tubing using air. Now you can turn off the CYANVision. It is good practice to wipe over the analyzer with a slightly humidified tissue. We recommend using the cyan washing solution diluted to 5% for this purpose.
So this is how you do the end of the day cleaning. That means it only takes you 5 minutes to do it, but if you do it every day, then you keep your instrument at a high performance. It is important to know that you can just easily wipe off the CYANVision, but not with hypochlorite or with a interruptive solution. Just do it with a washing solution that is delivered with the CYANVision. Every 6 months, we also advise you to replace the pump cassette. Why is it? Because of the fact that you are pumping a lot of reagents, but also a lot of samples through the pump. And that makes that there could be debris into the tubings. We have made the tubing of the CyanSmart, as you can see on the picture, very small. So you have the inlet tube, and then there is very little tubing under the lid, and then a very short towards the waste tube. So the tubing itself is very limited. But to be able to have the right aspiration rate of your samples, we advise you to replace the pump tube. In the past, it was just a tubing to be replaced, but that also needed and asked for a lot of validation and initiation to make sure that the pump was going well. The reason for it was that the tubing that we provide is sometimes a bit more stretchy and sometimes a little bit less stretchy, and then there is a calibration needed. What we did with the CYANVision is we provide you with a pump cassette. I will show you a video to just replace the pump cassette, and then you do not need to touch the other tubings, and the calibration is done automatically.
In this video, we present the pump cassette replacement procedure. We recommend to do this every 6 months for the optimal performance of your analyzer. To replace the pump cassette, you need a disinfectant like 5% of hypochlorite or bleach solution, a container with at least 40 milliliters of distilled water, and a new peristaltic pump cassette. For your safety, consider all laboratory instruments as a biohazard. We therefore recommend to decontaminate the CYANVision before replacing the pump cassette. Start by cleaning the hydraulic system according to the weekly disinfection procedure. A dedicated video on this is available. Switch off the analyzer and perform an external disinfection according to the standard operating procedure. To replace the pump cassette, first lift the cover of the CYANVision. Disconnect the pump tubes from the 2 connectors. One is attached to the waste tube and the other to the flow cell tube. Press the 2 clips on the side of the pump cassette to remove it from the rotor. Firmly click the new pump cassette onto the rotor with the tubes facing to the back of the analyzer. Reattach the connectors to the pump tube. The inlet of the pump is the tube the closest to the flow cell. Confirm the replacement of the pump cassette in the Maintenance Overview menu. After replacing the pump cassette, it is necessary to recalibrate the pump aspiration volume to ensure precise and accurate aspiration. Watch the specific steps in our weekly verification video.
So you can see now that the amount of tubes in the instrument is very, very limited. So you have the inlet tube, the tubing going to the flow cell, then from the flow cell towards the pump cassette, and then the outlet tube from the pump cassette towards the waste. When we look at the maintenance, actually this is the only thing that needs to be done every 6 months. So that means on maintenance parts, we have 5 minutes of cleaning every day and about 10 minutes of maintenance every 6 months. So that means that it's quite limited to 0. So it's a very simple and limited maintenance. the instrument itself has a software, and it will indicate whether something needs to be done. So it indicates whether the pump calibration needs to be done. It indicates whether there's a pump tube replacement that needs to be done. It also indicates when you need to replace the connectors. There is a reminder system, so you will have a pop-up. You do not need to do it. That means that if you are doing your daily workload and you say, okay, well, I do it this tonight, all right, that's fine, or you do it in the next morning, it's fine too. Please do it, because that keeps your instrument in the best shape it can be. However, it doesn't block you from working, it's just a warning. Then there is an auto assistant who guides you through these steps. They have the peristaltic pump cassette instead of the tubing. As there is no ventilator inside the instrument, the cover is fully closed, and that also means there is no dust coming in, and that means that your electronics are protected against all dust, all sand, all corrosive points, and that also means that the lifetime of your instrument will be longer. So that brings me actually to the conclusion of this presentation. It is an open system semi-automate. That means that you can add other reagents and Cypress to the system. It is with the remark that our reagents are well validated on similar and bigger instrumentation to make sure that when you use the combination reagents and the right programming, that you will have good results with the methods, and that you can compare even your results with a Roche, a Siemens, or an Abbott instrument. Then there is a 10-inch touchscreen. It's delivered with the instrument, and that gives you a good overview of where you are, how many patients you still need to do, what is the maintenance that you need to do and in that day. It is possible to link another or to connect another screen, a big screen, a small screen, whatever screen you want, with a cable of HDMI or with a USB. It is up to you to do that, but don't connect a computer, because the computer is within the CYANVision. Then we have the LED technology, and in the LED technology we have seen that there is one big advantage. There is no lamp replacement anymore. In addition, you have economical benefits on the technology because you save cost and you save on time, but you also have functional benefits on this technology, that actually your performance of your instrument stays high, even if it's already for a longer time in your laboratory. In addition, the LED doesn't produce heat, there is no ventilator, and that also means that your technical parts in the instrument are protected. Then regarding quality control, very important, there is a barcode reader in which in less than 1 minute you can introduce your data into your instrument and make sure that you don't have any transcription errors. Then we have talked about the work list who helps you to organize your lab, to save 37% of your time during the day, but also have a big win in time and cost on reporting, on searching the patient's data, and so on. And then we have the simple and limited maintenance. So if you're ready to perform biochemistry analysis and you do it already today, or you still want to do it in the future, but you want to do it in a convenient way, then using the CYANVision will not only make that possible, but will also help you to organize your lab, to reduce the maintenance time, and to save the cost at the same time. In this slide, and I will provide you with the PowerPoint afterwards, you will have an email tomorrow with these PDF slideshow, and you will see as well that you have 2 links there. On the CYANVision My Choice website, you will find more information. And on the Vimeo website, there is a showcase of about 28 or about approximately 30 videos that indicates step by step how you can use the CYANVision, and in which actually our support team put a lot of effort to make it more easy for you.